class we have started with text pre-processing. In that we have seen what is tokenization, what is a token. Token is an individual word in the corpus. Okay, and we have seen sentence. When you have a paragraph, if you want to do a classification, either you can say give the entire paragraph as a whole document, and we can classify the document. Okay, or in that case we no need of sentence segmentation, or we have to divide the entire document into number of sentences, and each sentence we have to classify as class 1 or class 2. In that case we need a sentence segmentation. So we have seen what is sentence segmentation, what are all the issues we will face when you are segmenting the document into a sentences, and the challenges involved. That is not fair. What are the challenges involved when you classify the whole document into a segment, a whole document into a sentences. Similarly, we have seen the tokenization also, sentence segmentation, word segmentation. Okay, given a sentence or given a document, finding out each and every individual word, that is tokens from the given document or the given sentence, and what are all the issues we will be facing when you segment the tokens from the given sentence or the given document, that we have seen. Then we have seen what is normalization? Normalization is bringing the data to a uniform form. There are three ways in which we can normalize the data. One is by case folding method, second one is lemmatization, and third one is a stemming method. So case folding, all the letters, converting all the letters to a lower case. When you convert that, there will be some issues like some expectations, some other exceptions will be there when you convert the entire document into a lower case, like if there is any abbreviations that has to be considered, and any middle word abbreviations are there that has to be considered, and anything that has to be given an importance, if that is there, when it is written in capital letter, that has to be considered. So all those exceptions will be there when you convert the case folding method of conversion of from higher uppercase to a lower case. And the second method of normalization is a lemmatization. Can you tell me what is lemmatization? Lemmatization and stemming both are used to bring the root word for the words. Okay, used to represent the root word for the given word. Okay. So for example, they have given car in your document. I'll be having car in one place, cars in one place, car apostrophe s in one place, car s apostrophe in one place. All these are words which belong to a root word called as a car. So lemmatization is also reducing the inflection or variation form to a base form. So what is the base form for all these forms is a car. Similarly, I have am, are, is, all these I can bring back to the original that is a base form called as a B. Okay, so how because we have to find the correct word, head word form from the dictionary. So if I have car, cars, whatever you have a head word for those combination of words in your dictionary, you have to find out that, and then you have to replace that word with that corresponding word. Okay, so both stemming and lemmatization is to reduce the inflectional forms and sometimes derivationally related forms of a word to a common base form. So the inflectional form or the derivational form for all these is the base form is the car. Okay, but I will tell you what is stemming also. Later on you have to tell me what is the difference between lemmatization and stemming. Both are used to bring the base form for the given word. Okay, next we will see about what is stemming. Stemming is used to reduce the term to their stem. Okay, stemming means to bring that to the base form, that is a stem word. Okay, used in information retrieval. So what stemming does is it will chop off the affixes. Okay, before that, 1 minute you wait. I want to say what is morphology. Sorry, I directly moved to stemming. So after lemmatization, before stemming, I'll tell you what is a term called morphology. That is a separate chapter you will be learning in the second unit. So what is morphology is, so now you know what is morphology, that is enough. Morphology fully in depth you will be studying in your second chapter. Okay. So morphology is the study of the internal structure of a word. If you take each and every word present in your document or your corpus, what is the morphology? The term morphology indicates is the morphology implies the study of the internal structure, how the word is built up. Okay, from which word that word came from. So that is the internal structure. We are studying the internal structure of each and every word present in the document. So that is morphology studies the internal structure of the word, that is how the words are built up from a smaller unit. If I have going, I have a word called going, I have to study the internal structure of the word going, from which word that going comes from, what is the root word for going. Okay, what is the root for word for going? What will be the root word for going? From which word going can come?
Go.
Go. So that study of that internal structure of the word, from where it comes from, what is the root word it derives, that word is derived. All these, that study of this internal structure of the word, that is how the words are built up from a smaller meaningful units, is called as that we call it as a morpheme. The smaller units from which the word has been derived, that we call that smaller word go, we call it as morpheme. Okay, morphemes. So morphemes are divided into two categories. So we have a stem and the affixes. What is stem here? The core meaning bearing units. That's the main word. And what is an affix? Go, and so it may be a suffix or affix that may be added to the stem word to bring a new word. Okay. For example, going is, go is a root word. Go plus what is a suffix added to it? What is the suffix added to the root word to get that word going?
ing.
ing. So you will be learning what is the root word from which the word has come from, and whether any affixes, suffixes are there in that word to make that word. For example, I have a dog and I have dogs. So dogs is come from which is the root word for dogs? All dogs were playing. So dogs is a word. So dogs. That dogs, what is the root word? It comes from the root word. What is the internal word, internal structure of the word? What is the root word from which the dogs arise? We reach the dog. Plus what I have extra?
Yes.
Yes, to make plural dogs. That S is a suffix added to it. Okay, like that we'll be studying each and every word, the internal structure, how the word is built up, what is an affix, suffix added to it, what is a morpheme. So that we call this. What is a stem here in dogs? In dogs, the word dogs, what is a stem here?
Dog.
Dog. Stem represents the core meaning bearing unit. What is the core word? Dog. And I am representing dog in plural form. So I have represented as dogs. So the core word, the stem word is a dog, and affixes, or that is affixes is, I am prefix or suffix. So I have added a suffix s. I have a suffix s to make the dogs as a plural. So to make this, that is bits and pieces adhering to the stem. So along with the stem, what is the bits and pieces I have added there? See, listen here, I have a word dogs. In that my stem word is a dog, and so from the dog, if I want to make dogs, I have added some suffix s. So what is the bits and pieces? What is affixes means? Bits and pieces adhering to the stem. So what is the bits and pieces I have added to the stem word? Either in the suffix or in the prefix, but here I have added in suffix. What is the root word I have added? Bits and pieces. Yes. Yes. So S is a letter which I have added either in prefix or suffix to the stem word.
Suffix.
Suffix. So bits and pieces adhering to the stem. If I add that, it will change the meaning or a grammatical function, yes or no? Either it will change the, yes, it changes the grammatical meaning. Dog is a singular, dogs is a plural. So if I add some affixes, what is an affix? That's the definition they have given. What is the stem they have given? Each and every, if you study the internal structure of the word, we have a stem word plus the, that is a root word plus the affixes or suffixes which will be added. Sometimes it will be added. If I have a dog, only the stem word, we have a root word dog. There is no suffix and affix added to it. Okay, singing, sings, singed. So singed means sing is a root word. Ed is added as a suffix to make it as past tense, singed, like that. Okay, so stem is the core meaning bearing unit. That is a main root word. We call it as a stem or a root word or a core word, anything we can say, our main word. Okay, and affixes are the suffixes or prefixes that is added to the word to change some grammatical meaning, to represent the grammatical meaning of that word or to change their meaning. Okay, so this internal, what is morphology, in depth you will be learning here. Why I am telling about morphology is because in lemmatization and stemming will have only the root word and that affixes will be chopped off. Okay, see here, in stemming, what we are stemming and lemmatization both are same, both are used to find the root word for the given words, but there is small difference. Okay, I'll tell you the definition for stemming. Later on you should tell me what is the difference and which is giving a better result, whether stemming or lemmatization. What stemming will do is, whatever word it may be, okay, it will chop off the affixes. Affixes means what? It may be, affixes means what? We have seen the definition, right? That's why I shown you the definition. That is prefixes or suffixes. That is bits and pieces of the word that is added to the, what is an affix? That's Stem word, very good. The bits and pieces of the word that is added to the stem word is called as an affix. Stemming, what it will do, it will chop the affixes or suffixes from the root word and it will take the root word. Okay, so that is that we call it as a stemming. For example, if I have a word compressed, okay, what it will do, it will chop off the, chop means it will remove the affix, and it will take only the stem word. See, compressed is changed to compress, and compression, ion will be removed. Okay, ion, compress plus ion, compressed is compress plus ed. So ion will be removed and equivalent to compress. Okay, so here compress is there, so it will be like that. So now can you tell me what will be the difference between lemmatization if you use lemmatization or if you use stemming, and which will be better for finding the root word?
Lemmatization would be better.
Why? Can you tell me? I have in the next slide, but I want the answer.
In the example itself that you have put up, if you see example in the one on the right side, the equivalent has been changed to a wrong spelling.
Wrong spelling. See, it will not see the meaning at all. Whereas in lemmatization, it will see the proper meaning and it will do. The root word belongs to a language or not. In lemmatization, it checks whether the root word belongs to a language or not. But here there is no actual language. If there is no actual language word, it will not consider. But here what it will do is it does not give a correct dictionary head word at all. Stemming, what it will do, simply chops the suffix or affix. It will cut, that's all. Whether it gives a meaningful word or not meaningful word, it is not correct. Okay, it will not give it. Whereas if you use lemmatization, it brings back to the original root word. Okay, see, that is the difference I have given. See here, stemming algorithms work by cutting off the end or the beginning. What is the end? We call it as end word, as we call it as what? Suffix, and beginning of the word can be that small bits and pieces can be added to the beginning of the root word or the end of the root word. What suffix will do? It will either cut the bits and pieces, that's all. Finally, it will not check after cutting it is giving a meaningful word or not. Okay, so see, beginning of the word, taking into the account a list of common prefixes and suffixes that can be found in the inflected word. Inflected word is the word which we have given. Okay, so this indiscriminate cutting can be successful in some occasions. Some occasions it will be okay. For example, if I have a dogs as my input, so it will cut the suffix, suffix, and my output will be what? Stemming, it will cut or chop the suffix, and what will be my output?
Dog.
Dog. So that is correct word. That's why they are telling the indiscriminate cutting can be successful in some occasions, but not always. And that is why we affirm that this approach presents some limitation. There is some limitations here. See this example. I have studies and studying. Okay, so what this stemming will do? It will chop off the either affixes or suffixes. So suffixes is study plus I, that is es. Es will be the suffixes. They will write the rule. If es, ey, ent, okay, ly indefinitely means in will be removed. Definitely ly will be removed. Like that, prefixes and suffixes, that sub part which is added to that core word will be removed. Okay, so studies, study plus es. Okay, so study will be like this. Whether it is a correct word? If you use stemming, it will be getting like this. When I have, so that's why it's just sometimes it will be successful. See, successful means studying. In this word, if I remove ing, even I will be getting a proper word. Okay, sometimes it will be giving a meaningful things, but sometimes it will not. Okay, so if I have study, studying, study, all this, it has to be removed. All these has to be changed to study. But if you use stemming, it will only chop. It will not see whether it will give a meaningful information or not. Whereas lemmatization, on the other hand, takes into consideration the morphological analysis of the word. It will see what is the root word, all these words are coming, and accordingly it will convert all these to a meaningful root word. Okay, so that's we will be building up a dictionary. From that dictionary it will check everything. That we'll be learning what is proper morphological analysis in the second chapter. Okay, so lemmatization takes into consideration of morphological analysis of the word. To do so, it is necessary to have detailed dictionary. That's why see, you should have a detailed dictionary. If I have study, studying, studies, studied, okay, studied me studied. Ed is removed, again it will be studi. That is not correct. So all these words, I should make a common dictionary. You have to prepare a dictionary for your corpus. If these words are there, it has to be converted to study. The morphological analysis is the internal structure of the word. For these, all these, the root word is study, study, not studi. Okay, like that. So it is necessary to have a detailed dictionary which the algorithm can look through that dictionary to come back to the proper lemma. What is the lemma for studying? Is study, S-T-U-D-E, D-Y. So better result than stemming. So which will give a better result? Stemming or lemmatization? Lemmatization. Both are used to find the root words, but lemmatization will give a better result when compared to stemming. Stemming, it will chop off by, they have written a rule, and based on the rule it will chop off the everything, and it has, okay. See here, there is a Porter stemmer for stemming. There is a Porter stemmer algorithm, already existing algorithm is there. They have written a rule like this. For the first step 1A, if your data or if your word ends with SSES, if your word ends with SSES, it has to be replaced with SS. Whether it gives a meaningful thing or not meaningful thing, that is not. It like this, they will be writing a rule. Okay, so if it ends with SSES, it should be replaced by SS. That is the rule. Step first rule, simple rules. Then they will go to a complex rules. Then if it ends with IES, it should be replaced by studies, STUDIES. It should be end with study I. IES should be replaced by I. If it ends with SS, it should be SS, as such SS. If it ends with S, it should be replaced by null. Like that, they will be writing a rule. In the Porter's algorithm, they have written a rule like this, taking into consideration of different suffixes and affixes, and they have considered. In some cases, it will give a correct result, and some places it will not give a correct result, because it is not based on the dictionary and based on the morphology. It is not based on the internal structure of the word. See here, example, they have given caresses. If my word is SS, ends with SSES, yes, that should be replaced by SS. Okay, ponies or studies. If it ends with IES, if my word ends with IES, it has to be replaced by the RHS side. What is the RHS side? What it should be replaced with? If my word ends with IES, it should be replaced with? Chopping means I have to chop something. Chopping, if my word ends with, if my suffixes has these in my words, this should be replaced by this. Like that, they have written an algorithm. Already this algorithm is available, but it will not give a correct result for every word they are telling. So if it ends with IES, it has to be replaced with? The word has to be replaced with I to get a? It has to be replaced with I to get what?
Stem word.
Stem word, good. If it ends with SS, it should be retained as same as SS, caras. Okay, if it ends with S, it should be replaced with null. So S has to be replaced with null. So if my input word, if my suffix, if this is my input word and if it has a suffixes ends with these type of combinations, it has to be replaced by this type of combination. This is a rule already they have written. This is the first simple rule. Then 1B. If I have a vowel plus ing. Okay, something in that, if I have a vowel plus ing, it should be that ing has to be replaced by mt. Okay, walk, king, that's all. Okay, I'll show that entire algorithm here. Wait. Okay, if it ends with ed, if it ends with ed, that ed has to be replaced with null, played with play. I'll show that entire algorithm. Wait 1 minute. These are all the step 1. Then step 2, step 3, step 4, they have taken all combinations. If it ends with A, T, I, O, N, A, L, it should be replaced by A, T, E. I, Z, E, R, it should be replaced by I, Z. Like that, they have taken all considerations and how to chop it. If I have the suffix with all these, how to chop it and what will be the output. If it ends with A, L, it should be null. So revive. Only this will be there. ABLE, it should be replaced with null. If it ends with ABLE, it should be replaced with L. Constable, constant will be there. ABLE will be replaced by null. Activate, ATE will be replaced by null. So it will not give a proper word. See, it is not a proper word. Sometimes it will give a proper word, sometimes it will not give a proper word. Okay, wait, I'll show that. But this is not required. This is how the stemming works. Okay, stemming is chop the word. They have written an algorithm by taking into consideration, by taking into consideration all the suffixes. If that suffix is here, how to chop it. If you are not giving a proper rule, then how a system will know where to chop, whether 3 words or 2 letters or 3 letters or 4 letters in a word has to be removed. So for that, they are written an algorithm, and this algorithm is already existing. Okay, so using that they can make a stem word. Okay, but in NLTK already that stemming is there, stemming and lemmatization is there. wherein it will give the root word. By they have written an algorithm. So whatever word it gives, it will check with the dictionary and it will give a proper root word for the given word. Okay. See, this is how this algorithm. This is not required. This is not a part in your thing also, but for your understanding how it works, I want to show you this. Okay. See, I have a word called connect, connected, connecting, connection, connections. All these, the root word is what? This may be done by removing how many, what are the different suffixes I had for these words? How many? Ed, ing, ion, ions. Okay, so this may be done by removing various suffixes. So you have to write a separate rule, okay, for each and everything. If it ends with ed has to be removed by null. Ing has to be removed by null. Ion has to be removed by null. Ions, it has to be removed by null. But it will not work for all the conditions. To leave a single term called, this may be done by removing of the various suffixes ed, ing, ion, ions to leave a single term called connect. Okay. So why we want to suffix, why in addition, the suffix stripping process will reduce the total number of terms in the information retrieval system, so that we can reduce. So all these connect, connected, connecting, connection, connections, these words will be available in my document. All these are related. Why we want to do this pre-processing, this lemmatization or stemming, is to bring the root word, because all these, the meaning of that word is connect. Okay, in different grammatical form. It may be a singular or plural or past tense or present tense simply. But what is the root word for all these words? Okay, so that we can reduce the size and the complexity of the data. Okay, see, the algorithm, how it works is, to present the suffix stripping algorithm in a Porter-Stemmer method, they have used consonants. Okay, they have used consonants. They are represented by C, and the vowels are represented by V. What are the consonants they have taken? As a consonant is a word, is a letter. In a word is a letter other than. Consonants are what? Other than. Consonants in a word is a letter other than what? What is vowels?
Vowels.
Other than A, I, O, U. So consonants is in a word is a letter can be a vowel or a consonant. Yes or no? Yes or no? They have taken in that way for Porter-Stemmer algorithm. Porter-Stemmer algorithm, each word they have taken and they are removing the suffix or prefixes. They have taken the vowel and consonant consideration and they have done it. Okay. So what is a consonant in a word? Is a letter other than A, E, I, O, U. And they have taken one other exception also, other than Y preceded by a consonant. Okay, that is and other than Y preceded by. For example, so in toy, I have an example toy. Y preceded by what? Before Y, what is the word? O. O. So in toy, the consonants are what? The consonants are what?
T and Y.
And O, I. Yes, like that. They have taken vowels. So they have taken vowels as V, consonants as C. And we, in a word, we'll have a list of CCC or VVV, or what are the different combinations. So if I have CCC, say a list of CCC length greater than 0, if I have all consonants means I can denote it by a capital C. And if I have a list of VVV, vowels in my word, so length greater than 0, it will be denoted by capital V. This is the rule they have applied in their algorithm. So a word can be any one of the four forms. It will start with C, followed by V, C, V, etc. with the consonants, or this any forms it may be. So generally what they have taken as a single form is any word which has a starts with a consonant followed by a vowel, consonant, vowel, consonant, ends with a vowel. Okay, so where the square bracket denotes the arbitrary presence of the content. Okay, arbitrary. Okay, so this only is important here. VC, VC, VC. So V followed by C. If there is any combination in your word, if there is a vowel followed by a consonant, that will be then vowel followed by a consonant, that are all grouped together, and it is using this VC power M to denote VC repeated many times. So here how many times VC is repeated? Here in this example VC. So how many times VC is repeated? How many times VC is repeated? V is a vowel, C is a consonant. V is a vowel, C is a consonant. Okay. See, this square bracket V and C are arbitrary presence of their content, but we want this count VC. V followed by C, V followed by C is there. If there is VC repeated M times, it can be written as VC power M. So C, VC power M, V, where M is called as the measure of any word or a word part when represented in this form. Okay, I'll show you an example, then you can understand better. Wait, this algorithm and all no need to explain, but for your understanding I am telling. See, take this word. Okay, take this word tree. What is T? T is a vowel or consonant? Each word, in each word, each letter can be a vowel or a consonant. See, please tell me, T is a vowel or a consonant?
Consonant.
Consonant. E is vowel or a consonant? R, sir, R. Please tell me faster. Consonant. E.
Vowel.
E. Vowel.
Vowel.
Again E. Vowel. So
Vowel.
what we have done, if we have a collection of C's or collection of E's, I can written as group together to form a single C. Yes or no? If there is a collection of consonants or collection of vowels together, if there is more than one consonant, I can group it and I can make it as one C consonants, and collection of two V's. So I have V. So I have these two, this word is represented by CB. Okay. So what is the M value for the, they may ask, what is the M value for the tree, for the word tree using Porter-Stemmer algorithm? Okay. How to calculate M value? How to calculate M value? Can you please tell me what is the M value? How to find M?
How many times the VC combination is?
Very good. How many times VC combination is occurring together? So how many times in your word input word tree VC component is occurring together?
0.
0. So M is 0. Okay, so that's why. Okay. See, next example you take trouble. T is consonant or vowel?
Consonant.
Consonant. R.
Consonant.
O.
Vowel.
U.
Vowel.
P.
Consonant.
Consonant. L.
Consonant.
E.
Vowel.
Okay, now you see any two CC are occurring together, that two CC I can make it as single C. Two V's are occurring together, I can make it as single V. Two C's are occurring together, I make it as single C, and one V is there, one V. So any VC combination is there in this word?
One combination.
Why I am telling is this M value they will be taken into count for writing the rule. That's why first you should know what is M value. Any M value is there. What is the M value for the word trouble?
1.
1. For troubles?
2.
2. Why? Because S is again a constant. So this V and C I cannot group it together. So there is VC combination is there like this. You have to find the M value. So generally a word can be represented in a word, or each and every letter is represented by vowels or consonants, and they are finding the VC combination. That VC how many number of times VCs are repeated in a word, that can be gives the M value. Using that M value, they are using it in an algorithm. Latest step. Okay. See here, after calculating the M value, what they are doing it here is, see, they are writing some that using that M value, they will be writing a condition. See, M is equal to 0. That's why I have shown for M. For EE, what is M value? There is only a word called EE. What is the M value?
0.
0.
By. For the word by, what is the M value?
There is no consonant.
No consonant. So that is also. So what is M value?
0, ma'am.
0. Okay. So after finding M value, the rules for removing the suffix will be given in the form condition in bracket condition S1 implies S2. If there is some condition, if that the condition is true, and if a word ends with this suffix S1, and that S1 can be removed by S2. See, that's why I have given this. This means that if a word ends with the suffix S1, okay, and the stem before S1 satisfies the given condition. This is a suffix, means before that should be a stem or not, stem word or not, root word or not. If I have bags, S1 is yes, and what is the condition here? Bag, yes or no? Yes or no, student? See, this is the rule they have written. Condition S1 implies S2. That means what? This means that if a word ends with a suffix S1 and before S1 there is a stem and that stem word satisfies the given condition, whatever condition you have given, that condition is satisfied by the stem word, then S1 is removed by S2. Okay, see, this is an example they have given. Can you interpret this example and tell me based on the previous syntax? Can you interpret this example and tell me? This is the example given. This is the condition given. If m greater than 1 and ends with, and the word ends with, what is the suffix of the word?
Ement.
Ement. If my condition, if my stem word, this is my stem word, root word, condition is in my root word if m greater than 1 and if my suffix, that word ends with, if the word has a suffix em, ent, then that should be replaced with,
Empty space.
Empty space. So EMT should be replaced with? EM, ENT should be replaced with what? Only the suffix should be, S1 should be replaced by S2. See, take this example, replacement. Can you find the M value and tell me first? For the word replacement, what is the M value? The M value we have already known, we have seen, right, how to calculate the M value. What is the M value for replacement? Please check and please do it and tell me. Huh?
3, ma'am. 3, ma'am.
3 or 2? For which m is equal to 2, they have written, I don't know, 3 or 2 you are getting?
3, ma'am.
3, okay, fine. So m is, so this is my root word. See, in bracket is root word. Root word should satisfy this condition. M greater than 1. If my input word m greater than 1, yes or no? 3, right? Greater than 1 or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and my word ends with EM, ENT.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, then EM, ENT should be replaced with?
Null.
Null. So this is how they have written a condition. Okay, so what is my chopped word now? If I give a replacement according to Porter-Semmer algorithm, the rule what they have written is, if my word ends with EM, ENT and if that input word is M value is greater than 1, then it should, that EM, ENT should be replaced by null. So what will be my output word in using Porter-Semmer algorithm if I give a replacement as my word? What will be my output?
PLAC.
PLAC. Okay, since replace, because it satisfies the condition. If the condition is true and if ends with S1, if the suffix S1, then S1 should be replaced by S2. So like this, they will be writing a rule. In a Porter-Semmer algorithm, they have written a rule like this. For why I have told you M value is because the M value they will be using in the condition statement. Okay. Next, you see there are different conditions they have written. The condition part may also contains the following condition. Not only we have M value, we can have any other than M value also. We can have like this star S. If I write star followed by S means the stem ends with S. Okay, star V star means the stem contains a vowel. We have seen there, no, the stem word, that is the stem word should have V means vowel. If the stem word has a vowel, then what to do? You can write star D. Star D means the stem ends with double consonant T T S S. Okay, star D means any. Star S, instead of star S, if I put star A, the stem ends with A. Similarly, for any other letters they have written. So star with any other letter means the stem word ends with any other letter. Okay, star followed by O means the stem ends with CVC. That is second, the first letter should be a consonant, second letter should be a vowel, and third letter should be a consonant. Okay, the condition part may also express, and in the condition we can use and or not, etc. See here, what does this condition says? Can you tell me? I want you to write a condition. Okay, I want you to write a condition. Please take your notebook. A stem with M value greater than 1 and ending with ending with S or T. A word with M value greater than 1 and ending with S or T. What will be the condition? So for this, how I can make a condition? For this, how I can make a condition, students? Word should have
Star.
M value greater than 1. A word should have M value greater than 1 and the word should end either with S or T. So how I can make a rule? If I have a word like this, I want to make a rule. How I can make a rule? What is the rule says? Condition. What is the general form of a rule? Please see here. What is the general form of a rule? Condition. What is your suffix? That has to be replaced by what? So what is the condition given? M value. What is so what? How the condition part? So here only the condition part. I am not giving the suffix part or replacement part. My condition part is I have a root word with M. I have a word with M value greater than 1 and the word is either ends with S or T. That is my condition. So how I can impose that condition? How I can write that condition? Can you tell me?
Corpus, ma'am.
How I can write it in as a condition form? M greater than 1 and the word ends with S or T. I have told you, no, condition can be, we can use and or not inside a condition. So how I can write a condition? M greater than 1. This is a general example I am asking students. M greater than 1.
Ma'am, S
And star.
will be replaced
Star
with
S or
a
star.
blank space.
Not replacement, students. Only the condition part I am asking. See, this condition part is there. No, either you can have one condition or you can have more than one condition. See, this condition is there. No, we can have one condition. Don't give suffixes and prefixes. The condition is true. Then this, if you have the suffix, then the suffix will be replaced by this one. Okay, but this condition itself, I can have more than one condition. If I have more than one condition, I can use and or not everything. So for that, I have a condition called, yeah. So here, how many conditions are there in this example? Which I have highlighting, how many conditions are there?
One.
One.
Condition.
That is what is the condition given? M, if the word should
M
have the
value.
M value greater than 1. If my condition has M, if I am writing a rule with the condition, if M value greater than 1 and if the word ends with S or T, then how I can make a condition? Three things I want to make it as a condition.
And
M greater than 1 and
M greater
star
than 1
S or star P.
and in bracket, this should be true and it should ends with either S or T. So star S or
Star T.
Star T. Okay, that's why I am telling us how to use and or in your conditions. Similarly here, see, test for a stem ending with double consonant. Okay, your word ends with double consonant, but other than L, S or Z. So how you will make a condition? Ends with double consonant other than L, S.
Star D and not star D and not.
Tell me the answer. Star D should ends with double consonant means star D and it should not with the double consonant should not end with
star L or star
S or star Z. So this is how you have to, this is how some examples they have given. Okay, this is how you have to frame a rule. Okay, so using those conditions, they have framed a rule for Porter-Stemmer algorithm. The first rule which we have seen there in the slide, without M value, first they are taking like this. If your word ends with SS, ES, it is replaced by SS, IES, I. They are not considering M value now. Later on, they will be considering for step 3, step 4, they will be considering. If the word ends with SS, it is replaced with SS. So you take a word, it starts from step 1A, 1B, 1D, whichever rule is satisfying, it will be cutting, it will be replaced till the last rule and finally you will be getting the stem word. Okay, when you give a word to this Porter-Stemmer algorithm. Okay, step 1B. So once it is removed, okay, once the step 1A is finished, none of the, if my word is not satisfied with, for example, my word is rationalize. It is not ends with SSES, not ends with IES, not ends with SS, not IZT. My word is ends with IZT. So it will not satisfy any of this. So it will come to step 1B. If M value is greater than 0, okay, and if ends with EED, it will check. Then it should be replaced with EE. Okay, so here M value, otherwise if that's not satisfying this condition, the word will be kept as such. What is the M value for feed? What is the M value for feed, students? FEED. What is the M value? What is
1.
you are getting 1? M value greater than F is what? VC combination only, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Wait 1 minute. This is sorry, VC combination. No, F is FEED.
Only one VC combination, ma'am.
One VC combination. So M greater than 0 ends with EED means it should be phi only, not feed. Okay, it should be converted to phi. If we have a bubble star, V star means what? Star V star means what? Vowel in the root word. Okay, so if there is any vowel in the root word and it ends with ed, it should be replaced by ed should be replaced by null. Okay, it will be replaced by null. Similarly, ing.
Ma'am, then one E will reduce, no ma'am?
Yes, one D will reduce. I think I have not changed everything. Okay, it will be like this. Okay, it will be replaced by null. Similarly, ing, you see here ing, motoring. If there is vowel followed by ing, it should be replaced by
null.
Okay. See, this I cannot ask you any questions because there are so many rules they have written. You cannot mug up all these rules. For your understanding, I am telling how they have written a rule. Okay. The rule will be, see later on, if you come to step 3, 4, 5 and all, they have taken M value into consideration, and if the word ends with this suffix, it will be replaced by this. Okay, that word will be replaced by like this. So this is the algorithm which they have written. Last time and all we have not taught this algorithm. This is not there in your syllabus also for your understanding, but you cannot mug up all these rules. They have taken all the considerations. So how the rules are written, I want you to show. For that I am showing. Okay, how the rules are written based on vowels and consonants where they are taking the M value. So M value they are identifying. Some rules are with simple rules without M value. Some rules are with M value. Okay, M value with this suffix means it should be replaced by this. Like that they are taking, and finally they are applying it and they are removing it. Okay, see this I have uploaded there. This no need for this. Only the PPT here till here is enough. Okay, that PPT, this some rules to explain you is enough. That is IZER means how it is replaced. IZER should be replaced by IZE. Simply if I tell like this, you will not able to understand. So I told you how it can be replaced. So in Porter-Stemmer algorithm, they are taking each word, they are finding each and every letter in a word as a vowel or a consonant, and they are finding the VC combination. Based on that VC combination, they are writing a rule. What is the general syntax of a rule? Can anyone tell me? What is the rule? Can be with and or not conditions also, or without. These are all simple rules. There are these rules which I have shown you in the slides are without M value. Okay, later on if you find somewhere what is M value, you should be able to know what is M value. That's why I have showed you that. So what is the condition? How you will be writing a condition? Can you tell me the general syntax for writing a rule? Condition. Can you tell me the general syntax for a rule? How to write a rule? Condition followed by
the suffix
implies
what it should be replaced with.
Replacing word. Okay, it may be replaced by some other thing or it will be replaced by null. Okay, that conditional is also optional. Sometimes for some rules, the first few rules are basic rules without condition. The condition may be with M value and with we can use and or not by adding 2 or more conditions also. And we can also have without and also if it starts with S or D. Okay, M value greater than 1 and it ends with S or D, or only without M value also we can write the condition. If I want to write a condition word ends with S or D, it should be replaced with null. So how will write a condition? What will be a condition? S or D?
Star S, star D.
Star S or star D.
Or star D.
So here instead of yes, it's a single only yes. So if I want to add two more condition, how I can write it as a rule? Star S or
Star.
With star as any word. Star means any word, root word ends with S or any root word ends with D. It should be replaced with
Null value.
Null value. The S and D should be replaced with the null value. That is, the suffixes should be replaced with the null value. Okay. Then the suffixes should be replaced with the null value. Like that, you can write any conditions. Okay. So these are all the rules without any condition. Simple rules. Okay. This is enough. Don't get confused. How you arrive all this, I am showing that. That will not, Porter-Stemmer algorithm will not be asked in your exam because we cannot mug up all the rules. They have written some 100, 150 rules. Okay. So how the rules are framed, you should be able to know either the simple rules without conditions or with the conditions and or not with M value. How to find the M value? If they want, they can ask 1 or 2 questions like how to find the M value for the given word, whether M is 0 or 1 or 2 for the word building or for the word build. Okay, like that they may ask. Okay, other than that, they will not ask any question because Porter-Stemmer algorithm is not there. Only stemming and lemmatization, how stemming works, because stemming is the first algorithm they have written without using a dictionary. It will simply chop the given suffixes or affixes for the given word without seeing the meaning, whether we will be getting a meaningful word or not. So they have written some rules. Based on the rules, they will simply cut the suffixes or prefixes from the root word. Okay. So these are all the pre-processing techniques. There is one more pre-processing technique is called spelling correction. For example, you have written for example behalf. Instead of behalf, you have written behalf, B-A-H-A-F, L is missing. Okay, so how to pre-process that? How to find the correct word for the wrong word? Pre-processing, that is a spelling correction technique. Okay, that using edit distance measure, we will be finding out what will be the correct spelling for the wrong spelling word which you have typed. Okay, that will need separate 1 hour. That we will be seeing in the next class. That we have a problems also. Okay, so that we will be making a problem to find out what is the how many corrections I have to do to make BEHAF to BEHALF. Whether BEHAF is equal, whether it is relevant to behalf or behave or believe something. Okay, we will find out that. Okay, that we will do it in the next class. So this here in text pre-processing, we have learned what is tokenization, sentence segmentation, word segmentation, sentence segmentation. What are all the challenges involved in word tokenization? What are all the challenges? See, this also you can take it as a small project and you can do it, students. You can take one document and you can write a rule or you can frame a rule and you can write it. If in your document, if I have a dot like this should be end of the sentence. Or if the dot comes here, it is not end of a sentence like that. You frame a rule and you give a document and it has to say, it has to tokenize your segment your sentences properly wherever the proper sentence is ending. Even though you have a dot in multiple places, for example 4.3, that dot it should not take as the end of the sentence. That also you can take it as a project, but that will not give a higher weightage. It will be like a lab exercise, 1 or 2 lab exercise, because already built-in package is there. You can give in that input and you can see how it is working. You can give an input and you can see even with multiple dots, 4.3, doctor, dot, and in a single sentence, if you have multiple dots also, it will finally segment at the end of the sentence, not with a D or dot or 4.3 dot. Okay, how many of you are downloaded NLTK? How many of you are downloaded, students, NLTK toolkit? Nobody has downloaded. Has anyone downloaded NLTK?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, how many of you are downloaded? How many of you worked with that? That is all built-in packages. Simply you have to give an input and you have to work on it. How many of you have tried? See, at least can you try next class only giving some input for segment sentence segmentation? Give one sentence and check how the segmentation happens. Sentence tokenize is there. Wait, I will have that sample code. If you want, I can show you once. That'll be right. That and all will not be asked. For your sake, whatever we are learning here, you can check it there using the toolkit. But there no use. Whatever you give, it will give an output. They have already written an algorithm. The package is there. Okay, if you want, you write up a separate thing for that, and instead of that algorithm, you write your own algorithm for sentence tokenization. 1 minute, I'll open and show. Opening. I think there are many packages are there. You install that tokenization. For tokenization, see here. From nltk.tokenize, you have to import sentence tokenize, word tokenize. SENT_tokenize is a package for sentence tokenization. For word tokenization, word tokenize. This is already existing the package. So what you have to give is, you have to give an example underscore text is equal to, you are giving some text. This is my input text. Okay, so print sentence tokenize for what? For sentence tokenize, what is the input I am passing it? What is the input I am passing it? SENT tokenize is a package. Can you all able to view the screen, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so SENT_tokenize is a package. For that, what is the input I am passing it? What is the thing I am passing it? Example underscore text is what? It is a
string.
String having an input text. Yes or no? This is my document. I assume that this is my document. This document I am passing it to sentence segmentation. So here so many dots are there. You see Mr. Dot, great, awesome, blue dot, something and all is there. Okay. Then print /n/, I am printing one /n. Then print, and in print what I am passing it, word tokenize. Again for word tokenize is a package. What is the parameter I am passing it here? What is the parameter I am passing it here?
Example text.
Example text. Same example. I want to print it in which way? What are the two ways I will be getting as an output?
Sentence segments. And
sentence segments and word segmentation. See here output. First one. Hello, Mr. Smith. How are you doing? This is first sentence dot. Okay. So that's why it's given in quotation mark. You see. Or if you give /n in between, it will print in /n also. See, this is here quotation starts. This is the end of the sentence. Here quotation starts. Awesome. End of the sentence. The sky is in pinkish blue. The third sentence, fourth sentence. I am getting it. Okay. Similarly for word tokenize, what is an output I am getting it? Word tokenize. See hello, then Mr., then Smith. Okay, Mr. Dot is one, taken as one token. Smith is another token. Then comma is another token. Wherever there is a small comma also. Cow is another token. Are you doing today? Question mark is one token. See, like this, it will split into tokens. Okay, so this is how all the packages are available, or everything is available in the Google. If you put it, you can able to get it easily. Okay, so this is how they have written sentence tokenization. Already the algorithm is written in NLTK and package is available. So if you want, you write your algorithm by yourself, so that if you give an input text like this, it should able to give a sentence like this, but not for 2-3 sentences. I want at least for one document. Okay, having all combinations. Okay, and don't write, when you're writing a rule, don't write the rule only for the document. Make it as a generalized one. Even any other cases appears other than the document also, which is not available in the document, your algorithm should properly classify that. Okay, accordingly you write it. Okay, I think it's time, students. Any other thing has to be discussed? Anything, students?